And here I want to go over two very important functions, the Vlookup function and the match function. First, the Vlookup function. What this will do is, for example, if you have a large amount of data like this, say these are just fictional salary HR data with employee names, like hire dates, salaries, and so on. But then you have this other spreadsheet where you just have a couple names and you want to pull their salary and their sick days. You could go through here, search for these names, then go over and look and pull that information and do it manually, or the Vlookup function can do that for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our cursor here, we're going to insert the function, click this, we're going to look for it. It's in my most recently used Vlookup. So now we've got, here's the argument. First is the lookup value. The lookup value is what we're trying to find. So in this example, it's going to be this cell, which would be L5. You could directly type the name Joshua Daniel into here, but then you can't copy and paste it down to the rest of it so you can pull the other ones. So it's better just to put a cell reference. We'll put L5 in there. Next, the table array. The table array is the table that we're looking in. So you're going to highlight it. I always highlight from the click right on the column number, the column letters, and go all the way across to include the whole column in there. You want to make sure the leftmost column, this is important, the leftmost column has to contain the data that you're looking for, because Excel is going to look in this leftmost column first of all. So if it contains this Joshua Daniel, it'll find it when it looks over here. Next is the column index. The column index tells you which column to pull over into here, and we're looking for salary. So since we're starting off here, this is column 1, hire date is column 2, and then salary is column 3. So we're going to put a 3 in here. And then the range lookup. Here you put either true or false. If you put false, it's what I normally use. You'll get an exact match. So you want to find exactly Joshua Daniel. So you put false. If you put true, then it's going to look for the result, but if it doesn't find it, it's going to pull in like the next closest or the right below it result that it finds, and you want to find the exact match. So you can put false, and if it doesn't find it when you put false, it's going to put an NA as a result, so then you know that it's not in there. So we've got all this. We click OK, and there we go, 31,000. And if we would find him, which is actually right here, Joshua Daniel, there it is, $31,000. And then we can copy and paste this down. You can either by dragging it or copy paste, however you want to do it. And now you've got these new salaries for the other people that we're looking for. If we look up in the formula here, we can kind of break it down. It says VLOOKUP L6, which is here. So we're looking up this name in the table array, which is columns A through H. So from A to H, so it's looking up this big table, and the left column is the name, and it's column number 3 we're pulling, which is the third one, which is salary, and false. So we find an exact match. And now if we're going to do sick days, we can do the whole formula again. You can copy it over, but you want to be sure you put $signs where you need to, because for example, if we copy this over, it's going to give us an NA, because now if we break down and look at it, see that it's looking up M5. As before it was L5. You have to put $signs in there to anchor the reference. So if you put a $sign in front of the L, $sign in front of the A, and $sign in front of the H, that means when we copy it, it's always going to keep those columns. So click OK. It still gives us 31,000, but when we copy it over, now it'll keep the reference. It's still looking up L5, which is Josh Daniel. It's looking up from A to H, which is the correct table. But now for sick days, we want a different column. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We want column 7. So I'm going to change this to a 7. There, he's got 4 sick days. We could also, if you didn't want to copy it over, we can just insert the function again, do VLOOKUP, and we'll do it the same way. What value are we looking up? Right here, this name. And what table? A to H. What column index? We just said it was column 7 for sick days. So 7. And the range lookup is false. So we'll click OK. Now we can copy this down. And now we've got the sick days for everyone. And I'll just show you an example. Say we have a name in here that's not in the file. I'll just put just a random name, Hank Aaron. Say we copy this down. There, we've got an NA. Because it's looking up L9. L9 is Hank Aaron. It's looking in this whole column of data, which this data goes down 100 rows. It's not in there. So if it's not in there, it pulls the NA. And all that means is that it's not in there. You might have to look, depending on the formatting, because it has to be exactly matching. So sometimes there might be, like, you might say Josh Daniel that we're looking for. Here might say Joshua A. Daniel or something like that. So sometimes you might have to do a little editing when you find NAs to find the error. But that is basically what the VLOOKUP function will do. And the other function I'm going to go over is the match function. All the match function will do pretty much is give you the position of where that name is in the file. It can be useful for when you combine it with other functions, or just if you want to know how far down. Like this table might be 10,000 rows. You might want to find out exactly where in the table it is. These could be ranked names or so on. So we're going to do insert function. We're going to do the match. Click OK. And what lookup value are we looking for? We're going to look up Joshua Daniel. And what's the array? The array is just the row or the column that we're looking for. So it'll be all column A. So it's going to be looking up through all these names. And then the match type, if you want to find exactly where it is, you can put a 0 in here. If you put you could put -1 or 0 or a 1 to kind of show like the start, say from the bottom or so on. But if you put a 0, it'll tell you exactly where that name is. We'll click OK. And now we got 15. If we copy this down, and here's all the places where they are. So see Josh Daniel is 15. So if we start here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Or actually, it shows the row. Sorry. See Joshua Daniel's in row 15. So that's what puts it in row 15. Willow Navandro, row 19. It's row 19. So that's what the match function will do, and also what the VLOOKUP function will do.